The Mini Cooper SE, this little pocket rocket, go-kart, funmobile, who's it for? Couples? Young families? How does it work out with like school drop-offs, doing errands, so on and so forth? This little car, well, I'm going to say it's a car that can. Why? Let's find out. The Mini Cooper SE is priced at $54,800 before on-road costs and sits in the middle zone between the Nissan Leaf, Hyundai Ioniq and the Kona Electric and Tesla Model 3. Whilst those cheaper cars have a bit more range than the Mini Cooper SE, its price can be commanded due to its classic styling, badge and premium car brand. Featuring 17-inch powered spoke wheels, neon accented mirror caps and front grille, plus a few subtle badging hints, you wouldn't know that this electric version is, electric? Whilst this model is close in performance to its petrol version, the bonnet scoop seen on the Cooper S is here too, but just for looks. The closed-off front grille gives away it's not needing any outside air to feed or cool the engine. At 3.8 meters long, 1.7 meters wide and 1.4 meters tall, the Cooper SE is slightly shorter and higher than its Cooper S brother. As they come off the same assembly line in Oxford, England, it's no surprise that they both share the same width and 2.5 meter wheelbase. I rather like the look of the Mini Cooper SE, holding onto its British heritage with Union Jack brake lights. Its profile is instantly recognisable as a trendy small town car, and onlookers remarking to me, "Oh, isn't that cute?" Up next, let's check out the boot. Coming in at 211 litres with the seats up, or if you drop the rear seats, 731 litres, the SE matches the Cooper S for rear end volume. Tie down spots are here, has 2, boot light and 12-volt socket. You can fit about 4 shopping bags, 2 carry-on suitcases or several bags in this little boot. Under the floor, you'll find charging gear. Yes, no spare tyre here. When you buy the Mini Cooper SE, the boot is where you'll find this 10A EVSC or granny charger. Why granny? Because it's slow, but that's okay. Just plug it into any 240 volt outlet, of which there are millions in Australia, and this charger will add about 10 kilometers of range per hour. As most Australians only do about 40 kilometers per day, this daily overnight top up will easily be completed in just 4 hours. A lot of people will be asking, Chris, how's it to actually get into and out of this car if you're not a kid? Let's give that a go. Okay, getting in this car as an adult is a little bit difficult. Kids, completely easy, like do the school drop off and pick up, no problems at all. Knee room, well, this seat is now set for my position and well, I've only got this much room. Headroom, not too bad, but I'm only 170 centimeters tall. In terms of shoulder width, yeah, look, it's okay. But know this, you can only accommodate 4 people in this car. The center spot is absolute no-go. You can put 2 car seats back here, you've got Isofix for that. And accommodation-wise, well, you've got drink holders, you've got some speakers there, but no glass for you to actually wind down and let the lovely air in. And how about getting out of the Mini? Whoa. It's a little hard. It's a little hard. Definitely better for kids. Under the hood, it looks like a conventional internal combustion engine bay. However, those front wheels are driven by an electric motor, outputting 135 kilowatts of power and 270 Newton meters of torque. During my time with the Mini, I found its 32.6 kilowatt hour battery good for about 170 kilometers of real world range. Mini reckons you can get 233 kilometers on the WLTP cycle, or 13.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. In my 4 days with it, I found that it ran at about 15 to 16 kilowatt hours per 100 Ks, so perhaps don't plant your foot too much and, well, you might, maybe, get 233 clicks out of it. Okay, enough about its looks. Let's get into the inside of the Cooper. Well, the interior of the Cooper SE is pretty nice, I gotta say. It's well finished, well laid out, and I gotta say, in general, a great place to be. The black interior, well, I really like. Scuff marks and dirt marks, I don't know how they'll go over time, but I think it's a very up-to-date, very modern looking interior that I'd actually enjoy being in. So once you're in the car, what you need to do is you put your foot down, hit the little center button there, and on it goes. And one thing that I find especially maddening in this car is a little bit excessive on the boing 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 noises, such as if I was to exit the car now and leave and had passengers in here, it would bong to say, hey, you haven't turned the car off, or hey, you left the key in, or just some sort of annoying boing reminder. Let's take a look around. Basically, front and center, you've got this big, awesome dial with a great map. And the resolution is good, it pops, the contrast is there, and it's easy to see no matter what. To control that system, you can either use your finger and just touch screen, or you can actually use the little button thing down here. And using the dial, zoom in, zoom out, go back to home. You have like navigation, My Mini, connected app, messages, alerts, telephone, and media. One glaring omission here that I'm kind of surprised about is that it doesn't have Android Auto, but it does have Apple CarPlay. That is kind of very strange in that, well, the predominant phone in the world is actually Android, but yet they don't have it. BMW or Mini Australia have said that it will be coming to this model in this year, but right now, if you were to get one, it wouldn't actually have it. The sound in this car, it is awesome. Oh my gosh. It's fitted with a Harman Kardon system and it rocks, honestly. All these different speakers, they all come together and has some rocking good tunes going on in this car. It's got a DAB radio, and this button on the steering wheel here, you can actually use it to ask you to navigate somewhere like home or to maybe a feature of interest, but I've found that it doesn't always work, and I think the best thing you can do is actually use Apple CarPlay or just get your navigation set up on your mobile phone first and stream Bluetooth through the speakers, listen to your own music and let your own mobile phone do the navigating for you. But here's a little demo. Navigate me to home.
Starting route guidance to the home address of home contact.
Perfect. That actually worked quite well. The voice function in this is actually nothing special, and your assistant on either Apple or Android is definitely a lot better. So yeah, just plug into that, which is another awesome feature of this car. And there's this center console here, in that you can actually house your mobile phone in there, and it will wirelessly charge if your phone accepts a wireless charge, whilst it's sitting here out of sight, out of mind. A good little feature, but that said, it is only good for small to medium phones. I think if you've got an extra large phone, say whatever the new Apple large phone is called these days, it's not going to fit in here very well. Coming down beneath the center dial, you've got your climate control. So you've got dual zone here, so the passenger can have 20 degrees and I can have 23 degrees, whatever floats your boat. You can manually control it through the fan adjustments and so forth. You've got leather seats that are warmed and very nice to sit in, very comfortable. I found the sitting position in this car to be pretty damn good. I was able to find both the distance from the pedals, and then the steering wheel can actually tilt and telescopic in and out. And yeah, this driving position in this car is absolutely easy to do, 6-way adjustable, no dramas there. Coming back to our climate control sort of stuff, beneath the dials, you've obviously got your seat warmer, you've got your demister for the front and back, recirculate, maximum AC, which if I press it, it's really going to kick in lower the internal temperature of this car. But let's turn it off because, well, we don't need it today. It's like beautiful 21 degrees in Melbourne. Fantastic. Beneath those air conditioning dials and buttons rather, you've got different buttons such as your parking sensors turn on, off and on. They are automatic, like when you hit reverse or when you actually start to slow into a spot in the front. So full 360-degree sensors, which are illustrated on the screen. Next button over is for your regen braking, and this is either low or high. And high is actually pretty damn good. It won't bring you to a complete stop, so there's no one pedal driving, but nonetheless, look, I'll talk about that later on. Next button over is obviously start and stop, and as I mentioned earlier, how this car just likes to, one, remind you with its constant bonging. The other thing it likes to do is turn itself off when you might not want it to. Sure, when it deactivates, you can actually tap on the screen to say keep the climate going, but that, I think, is something that needs to be addressed in a future update. Next one is traction control. So obviously, if you're once a spirited, crazy fun driver, you can turn off some of the safety systems. And then finally, over here, you've got the sports and green toggle. And that moves through like 4-5 different modes, from sport down to mid, which is like your balance setting, everyday sort of driving. Green, for those who actually like to maybe get the most out of their battery, almost most, just means the accelerator is going to not respond so fast. And well, the climate's somewhat attenuated, but then conversely, you can go all the way down to green plus. And oh my gosh, when you're doing green plus, aircon's off, acceleration's slowed down, and well, yeah, that's, I think, the last resort if you really, really need to get that last little bit of battery. Yeah, it's good to have. It's good to have, but nonetheless, yeah, just remember it's there. Coming down underneath that, we have a cigarette lighter spot, so like a 12-volt slot. Then you've got USB-A and USB-C for charging your devices, obviously in addition to this armrest. Then you've got your drive select. Now this little funky thing is pretty easy to use, very much like a traditional automatic gear selector. You just press a button on the side, pull it backwards towards you to get into drive, push a button again to press it forwards into reverse, and then you press the park button to actually engage park. Now, this is an electric car, and I would have thought that if you actually hit that park button, surely the true park brake, that is also electronic by the way, and will automatically disengage if you were to start moving off and it was engaged. Why not, when you press this P button, at the same time, the park brake also goes on? Just a little side thought, and I think it's something that could be further refined. On the driver's side door, you've got controls for the windows. Obviously, you've only got the fronts, so that's good to have both controls there. You've got your mirror controls as well as your fold-in mirrors. But weirdly, there's no way to actually fold them in just when you turn the car off and walk away from it. This is a German car, and in cars that I've driven previously by German automakers, you normally actually just keep the mirror select to left or right, so that when you do actually lock your car and walk away from it, it knows that you just want the mirrors to always fold in. But this, you have to actually push the button yourself and it will occur. That again, I think is just a little bit of an oversight that doesn't really quite make sense, does it? On the door itself, you've got a very funky door handle with an awesome little light behind it. And you've got your unlock and lock, which you can do the system settings and actually tell the car to lock when you start driving and to unlock when you want to get out. Coming out top, we've got a few more toggles up here which control just the interior lights, and especially at night time. I mean, look, check out this view. This cockpit, I really want to call it a cockpit, is just awesome to be in. It feels luxurious. Fit and finish is really good. Everything is solid, well put together, no rattles, no shakes, and it's just a really, really great place to be. At speeds less than 30 kilometers per hour, you've got the Hans Zimmer soundtrack on the outside of the car. You can hear some of that some of that sound inside as well. It's okay. You can't turn it off, and that's for safety reasons, obviously. few people have mentioned to me, gee, that thing's really quiet. But you know what? A neighbour of mine and who said that the first time, the second time she saw me in the street, like the next day, she's like, oh yeah, no, I can hear that now. And I think this is the future, that people will get used to like the noise of EVs and basically be listening out a bit better for the tyres and maybe that sound. Switchgear is all very sensible. You've got automatic headlights, automatic wipers, and feels nice to touch and very much expected of, well, the Mini brand, well, BMW for that matter. The heads-up display is quite clear. You can see the speed you're doing. You've got the speed recognition sign thing, so you know, well, should we do more than 50 km per hour? Also, when you've got navigation going, it shows you where you should be turning next. But when you've got your actual speedometer, information about your state of charge, whether or not using a lot of power or actually recuperating energy back into the battery through regen braking, either through low or high, which feels good at high. It could be a bit stronger, I reckon, but I think on low, it's definitely too soft and very wishy-washy, and definitely not a mode I would recommend. Seated nice and low in obviously what is a very low slung car, you feel enveloped by the car. And look, it is a small car, no doubt about it, but nonetheless there's this kind of, well, TARDIS-like experience in that they've maximised the glass all throughout this car, from the front windscreen, the long side windows, as well as actually the rear view mirror, which is small along with that rear window. It's not a bad combination. When you're parking the Mini Cooper SE, the rear view camera comes on and you've got the assistance of 360-degree sensors. So you feel very comfortable and safe throwing this thing around. Navigate me to home.
Terrain, say yes, or select another entry from the list.
Now, I definitely did not say Terrain, and yeah, it has got no results for me to get home right now. But you know what, actually? No, I want to get this car navigating because it is the most polite sat-nav I've ever heard. Let's give that a go. Navigate me to home. Navigate home. Navigate me to home.
Eventually.
Please leave the roundabout at the first exit.
See what I mean? Isn't she so nice? Please. Okay. When you've got navigation active, it actually will appear in the heads-up display. But you know what? I've got it right here in front of me, just to my left, and well, I've got my speedometer and all the other information just right in my steering wheel line. So I've got to ask, why do we have this heads-up display when we actually have very important emissions here, and that is active cruise control, lane keep assist, and stop hold. That is to say that when you come to a complete stop, like right now, the car should just be able to stay here by itself, particularly as an EV. And I think that the money that they spend on the heads-up display could have been better spent on those three features. The Mini Cooper SE definitely benefits from being all electric. Instant torque, go-kart experience, pocket rocket, you name it. It is zippy and it feels awesome. It just handles so well. It's like with those wheels on each corner of the car, you can really throw it around the corners, and with thanks to the weight of the actual battery pack, also I think really well tuned suspension, a well-weighted steering wheel that is actually a comfort to drive. This car is a lot of fun. Getting up to speed, there's a little bit of wind noise I can hear from over at the mirror sort of spot, and other than a little bit of road noise, that's it. It's a nice, beautiful, quiet cabin, and it feels all very sophisticated and, well, a little bit retro, cockpit, future-esque. Yeah, I knew I threw a lot of different words in there, but I mean each and every one of them. from all the switch gear, which makes you feel like a bit of a pilot, that you can flick things and turn things on and off. A lot of fun. Retro, you've got the big dial in the center, which, well, these days is actually showing you how you're actually driving and how fast you're going, so people on the back can kind of gauge as to how fast you're going. My time with the Mini Cooper SE was great. I must say, I was very impressed with its performance, its handling, that go-kart experience. It just pushes you in the back of the seat. It turns like it's on rails, feels very well planted, and you feel assured that it's going to go where you want it to go. Performance-wise, at 135 kilowatts of power, 270 newton meters of torque, and that 200 kilometer-ish range, it is definitely very capable. And look, for $59,000, spec like it is, for $54,000, you'll be buying the petrol equivalent. And I'd say to you, you're mad. Buy this instead. You're going to be saving yourself that much money over 3 to 4 years in petrol and maintenance costs alone. And this goes faster, handles better, and is all round the better car. If you're a family, if you're a couple, if you're a single person and you live in urban areas of Australia, this is definitely a car that you should be putting on your shopping list. If you've enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, smash that like button, put a comment down below. Got a question? Ask me, I might answer, who knows? If you want to take it to the next level, join me somewhere up here on Patreon, where from as little as a coffee per month, you get early access news, polls, stuff that you just don't get here, including Discord perks and behind the scenes. And well, as always, be good and be green.
Down to my face.